Section 7.7, Proportions. A proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. And the common example we see is something that looks like this. A over B is equal to C over D. So, for example, if we saw a problem like if a person working for an hourly wage earns $143 in 13 hours, how much will that person earn in 15 hours? Well, how much will that person earn? Let's call that our X. So what we could say is 143 is to 13 as, so now we have earnings, 143, hours, 13, earnings, hours. Must be consistent. 143 is to 13, wages to hours, so it is often useful to kind of put in some units here. Dollars, hours, dollars, hours. Alright, now how would you solve it? Well, in the proportion A over B is equal to C over D, this is equivalent to A times D is equal to B times C. We are allowed to cross multiply in a proportion and nowhere else. So we could solve this by writing it as 143 times 15 is equal to 13 times X. Now let's do some multiplication here. 143 times 15 so let's see, 2,145 is equal to 13x. Now we got to do some division, dividing through by 13. Thirteen divided into 84 5 times, 6 times, 78. And 13 into 65 is exactly 5, so X equals 165. So it would earn $165 in 15 hours. Excuse me. Yes, that's correct, in 15 hours. Alright, so get a little bit of practice. Solve each of these proportions. Alright, so first one, x over 5 is equal to 3 over 7. We can solve it by using the cross products. X by 7 is the same as 5 by 3. So 7x is 15, and dividing through by 7, x is 15 over 7. Similarly for the second example, 20 times 4 is equal to A times 15. 80 is equal to 15A. Dividing by 15, let's see, they're both divisible by 5. That's 5 times 20. I'm sorry, not 5 times 20. It's 5 times 16 over 3 times 5. So A would equal 16 over 3. get a little practice writing proportions and solving them. So for example, we were asked to write a proportion that models the situation and then to solve the proportion. We're told that 5 is to 8 as 9 is to x. To write this as a proportion, 5 is to 8 as 9 is to x. So there's part A. Part B, solving the proportion. We'd have 5 times x equals 8 times 9, or 5x equals 72, and dividing through by 5, x is 72/5. Alright, again, write and solve a proportion. 14 gallons of gasoline contains 1.4 gallons of ethanol. How many gallons of ethanol would be contained in 22 gallons of gasoline? Alright, so let's start by writing the 14 and the 1.4. Now they're both gallons, so let's be careful here. Gasoline, ethanol equals how many gallons of ethanol? Let's call that the x. But now where would the ethanol go? Gasoline, ethanol, x. Ethanol here would be contained in 22 gallons of gasoline. 22 gallons of gasoline. So notice how if you remember the units, it can help you set up the proportion. Now, so there's part A. Solving it, we would have, for part B, we'd have 14 by x is 1.4 by 22. Let's see, 22 by 1.4. It's 30.8. Dividing through by 14. 14 into 30.8. 2.2. So 2.2 gallons of ethanol would be contained in 22 gallons of gasoline. Alright, why don't you try this one on your own? Write and solve a proportion that models this problem. If 6 tablespoons of coffee grounds make 10 cups of coffee, how many tablespoons of coffee grounds are needed to make 35 cups of coffee? Alright, so let's set it up. 6 is to 10. Tablespoon, cup. How many tablespoons of coffee grounds? There's my x. X tablespoons to 35 cups. Solving it, 6 by 35 is equal to 10 by x. 210 is equal to 10x, and dividing by 10, x is 21 tablespoons.